This is the story of a boy who grew up in a cupboard, unaware the world whispered his name in awe. A story of a dark wizard defeated, not destroyed, and a child marked by that clash of power. Before Harry Potter ever sets foot in Hogwarts, destiny is already moving quietly around him. This is the story of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Let's begin. Section 1. The boy who lived in a cupboard. On Privet Drive, the Dursleys pride themselves on being perfectly normal, pretending Harry's magical parents, Lily and James Potter, never existed. The night Voldemort murders the Potters and mysteriously fails to kill baby Harry. Dumbledore, McGonagall, and Hagrid leave the orphaned child on the Dursleys' doorstep, deciding he's safe for growing up away from fame. 10 years later, Harry is treated as a servant, sleeping in a cupboard while his cousin Dudley is spoiled rotten. Strange things happen around Harry. His hair grows back after a bad haircut, a too small sweater shrinks away from him, and he somehow ends up on a school roof while fleeing bullies. On Dudley's birthday trip to the zoo, Harry unknowingly speaks to a boa constrictor and makes the glass vanish. Allowing the snake to escape, the Dursleys punish Harry, but soon letters begin arriving addressed precisely to him in the cupboard under the stairs. Letters Uncle Vernon desperately intercepts. The more Vernon fights the letters, the more insistently they come. Through the mail slot, under doors, inside eggs, then finally pouring from the chimney, he drags the family to a shack on a stormy rock in the sea, convinced no one can find them. At midnight, on Harry's 11th birthday, a giant named Rubeus Hagrid breaks down the door, reveals that Harry is a wizard, and hands him his Hogwarts acceptance letter. Hagrid tells Harry the truth. Voldemort killed his parents, tried to kill him, and somehow failed, leaving Harry with a scar in the shape of a lightning bolt. The Dursleys had lied, claiming his parents died in a car crash. Hagrid gives Dudley a pig's tail in fury, then takes Harry into the wizarding world. They enter Diagon Alley through the leaky cauldron, where witches and wizards greet Harry like a legend. At Gringotts, they withdraw money from Harry's vault and secretly retrieve a small, mysterious package from a high-security vault for Dumbledore. Harry gets fitted for Hogwarts robes, meets the snobbish Draco Malfoy, buys school books and a snowy owl from Hagrid, and finally receives a wand that shares a core with Voldemort's. On September 1st, the Dursleys abandon Harry at King's Cross with no instructions. He spots the Weasley family, learns how to access Platform 9 in 3/4, and boards the Hogwarts Express. Harry and Ron bond over food, family stories, and their shared sense of being outsiders. Meet Hermione Granger, clever and intense, and Neville Longbottom, forgetful but kind, and have their first confrontation with Draco Malfoy, who offers friendship on the condition Harry chooses the right sort of people. Harry refuses. Section 2. Welcome to Hogwarts. The first years arrive at Hogwarts and sail across the Black Lake, the castle rising above them. Inside, the Sorting Hat places students into houses. Hermione, Neville, Ron, and Harry all go to Gryffindor, while Malfoy goes to Slytherin. Harry fears being sent back to the Dursleys, but insists he doesn't want Slytherin. The Hat listens and sends him to Gryffindor. In the Great Hall, Harry sees Dumbledore and meets the forbidding potions master, Severus Snape, whose glare causes Harry's scar to burn. Dumbledore warns students that the Forbidden Forest is off limits and that a section of the 3rd floor is strictly forbidden. In the Gryffindor common room behind the fat lady's portrait, Harry experiences, for the first time, a place that feels like home. Classes begin, and Harry struggles to navigate moving staircases, trick doors, and ghosts. Hermione excels at everything. Harry enjoys some classes, especially Transfiguration and Charms, but quickly learns Snape seems to despise him. During one lesson, Snape humiliates Harry with impossible questions and pointed insults, favoring the Slytherins and making Harry an immediate target in potions. Harry receives a letter from Hagrid inviting him to tea. At Hagrid's hut, with Ron in tow, Harry learns about Gringotts' supposed unbreakable security, and that the vault Hagrid emptied with him has since been broken into. Harry suspects there's a connection between the robbery and whatever Hagrid took for Dumbledore. In flying lessons with Madame Hooch, Neville breaks his wrist, and Malfoy steals his Remembrall. Defying orders, Harry chases Malfoy on a broom, performing a spectacular dive to catch the dropped glass ball. Instead of being expelled, he is secretly recruited by Professor McGonagall as Gryffindor's new seeker, the youngest in a century. Malfoy tricks Harry and Ron into a supposed midnight duel. Instead, he plans to get them in trouble. Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Neville end up lost, fleeing Filch, and stumble into the forbidden third-floor corridor. There they discover a massive three-headed dog, later named Fluffy, guarding a trapdoor. Back in the common room, Hermione scolds them, but cannot deny something important is hidden at Hogwarts. Soon after, Harry receives a top-of-the-line Nimbus 2000 broom, courtesy of McGonagall, securing his place on the Quidditch team. At Halloween, Ron mocks Hermione, who overhears and spends the evening crying in a bathroom. When a mountain troll is let loose in the castle, Harry and Ron race to warn her, end up fighting the troll in the girls' bathroom, and knock it out using a levitation spell. Hermione lies to protect them, claiming she went after the troll herself. Their shared brush with death cements their friendship. During Harry's first Quidditch match, he spots the snitch but suddenly loses control of his broom, as if someone is cursing it. Hermione sees Snape staring at Harry, rushes to the staff stand, knocks Quirrell over, and sets Snape's cloak on fire. The spell breaks, Harry regains control, and catches the snitch in his mouth, winning for Gryffindor. Later, Hagrid slips up and mentions that the three-headed dog is guarding something belonging to Dumbledore and someone named Nicolas Flamel. As Christmas approaches, Harry stays at Hogwarts and receives real presents for the first time: a Weasley sweater, sweets, a flute from Hagrid, and, mysteriously, an invisibility cloak that once belonged to his father. Exploring under the cloak, he sneaks into the restricted section, flees a screaming book, and ducks into an empty room where he discovers the Mirror of Erest. In it, he sees his parents and generations of family standing around him. Harry returns repeatedly, longing to see his parents' faces. When he brings Ron instead sees himself as Quidditch captain and head boy. Dumbledore eventually appears, explains that the mirror shows the deepest, most desperate desire of our hearts, warns that it can drive people mad, and says it will be moved. Harry leaves the mirror, his heart heavy but understanding he cannot live in its illusion. Section 3, the stone, the forest, and the final door. Back in classes, Hermione, Ron, and Harry finally discover who Nicolas Flamel is. An alchemist, the only known maker of the Sorcerer's Stone, which can turn metal into gold and grant immortality. They conclude that the stone is at Hogwarts, hidden behind Fluffy's trapdoor. Harry overhears Snape threatening Quirrell in the forest, demanding cooperation, and becomes convinced Snape wants the stone and is forcing Quirrell to help. Meanwhile, Hagrid mysteriously obtains a dragon egg from a hooded stranger in a pub. The egg hatches into a Norwegian ridgeback, which he names Norbert. Keeping a dragon is illegal, and its rapid growth endangers everyone. After Norbert bites Ron, they arrange for Ron's brother Charlie to take the dragon to Romania. Harry and Hermione smuggle Norbert to the tallest tower under the invisibility cloak. But in their exhaustion, they leave the cloak behind. Filch catches them, and McGonagall punishes Harry, Hermione, Neville, who tried to warn them, and Malfoy, who was caught snooping, with point deductions and detentions, dropping Gryffindor to last place. For detention, they accompany Hagrid into the Forbidden Forest to find whatever is wounding unicorns. Split into groups, Harry sees a hooded figure drinking unicorn blood. His scar burns as the figure glides toward him. A centaur named Firenze rescues Harry, hinting that the stars foretell Voldemort's return, and explaining that unicorn blood grants cursed half-life survival. Harry is now certain that Voldemort is in the forest, trying to regain strength and likely after the Sorcerer's Stone. After exams, Harry realizes the stranger who gave Hagrid the dragon egg knew far too much, especially that music sends Fluffy to sleep. They rush to warn Dumbledore, only to learn he's been summoned to London by an urgent message, likely a trap. Desperate, the trio decide they must reach the stone first. Neville tries to stop them, terrified they'll cost Gryffindor more points. Hermione reluctantly petrifies him with a spell. Under the invisibility cloak, they slip past Filch and reach Fluffy's room. Harry plays the flute, lulling the dog to sleep, and they drop through the trapdoor. They land in Devil's Snare, which tries to strangle them until Hermione remembers that calm and light, or fire, defeat it. Next, they face a room full of flying keys and realize one broken wing key must open the next door. Harry uses his seeker skills to chase it down amid hundreds of darting keys. In the following chamber stands a huge enchanted wizard's chess set. To cross, they must play as pieces. Under Ron's direction, they fight a brutal match where stone pieces smash each other. Ron sacrifices himself, allowing Harry and Hermione to checkmate the king. Ron is knocked unconscious, but they press on. In the final puzzle room, Hermione uses logic to decode a riddle involving bottles of potion and a ring of magical fire. There's just enough potion for Harry to move forward and for Hermione to return to help Ron and find Dumbledore. Harry drinks the potion, passes through the black fire, and enters the last chamber alone. He does not find Snape, but Professor Quirrell, standing before the mirror of Erised. Quirrell reveals he was the one who jinxed Harry's broom, let the troll into the castle as a diversion, and tried repeatedly to steal the stone. A sinister voice orders Quirrell to use Harry to unlock the mirror's secret. When Harry looks, he sees himself slipping the stone into his pocket, and then feels its real weight inside his own robes. The voice insists Harry is lying. Quirrell unwraps his turban to reveal Voldemort's withered face fused to the back of his head. Voldemort speaks directly to Harry, taunting him about his parents and demanding the stone. When Quirrell tries to seize Harry, his hands blister and burn at the touch. Harry realizes his very skin is harming Quirrell and grabs his face in desperation. The pain in Harry's scar explodes, then everything goes black. Harry wakes 3 days later in the hospital wing, surrounded by gifts. Dumbledore explains that he arrived just in time, that the stone has been destroyed with Nicolas Flamel's consent, and that Voldemort fled again, leaving Quirrell to die. Harry learns that his mother's sacrificial love left a protective charm in his blood, making him deadly to Voldemort's host when he tried to touch him. Dumbledore refuses to answer every question, hinting that some truths must wait. At the end-of-year feast, Slytherin appears to have won the House Cup, until Dumbledore awards last-minute points to Ron, Hermione, Harry, and Neville for bravery, intelligence, and courage. Gryffindor wins, and the Great Hall erupts in cheers. When the school year ends, Harry returns to the Dursleys, no longer just a frightened boy in a cupboard, but a wizard who has faced Voldemort and survived again. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment which book or tale you would like to recap next. See you in the next one.